Imagine being deep behind enemy lines, rain soaking through your clothes, mud caking your boots, and the only tools you brought are scattered in your pack. Your standard-issue multi-tool is lost in the chaos. For most modern outdoors enthusiasts, this would feel like a nightmare. But for soldiers in World War II, improvisation wasn't just a skill, it was survival. The field manuals and wartime accounts show countless examples where a discarded tin, a bent nail, a piece of wire, or a fragment of scrap metal became a soldier's replacement for the sophisticated multi-tools we take for granted today. For the first minute of this guide, consider how necessity drove innovation. Every broken piece of gear became an opportunity to repair, adapt, or improvise. Today, those same techniques remain surprisingly effective for backpackers, campers, and survivalists, even in 2025. World War II soldiers relied on layered improvisation rather than a single tool. In the field, the multi-tool did not exist in the same form we know today. Soldiers often carried knives, small screwdrivers, and basic repair kits, but these were limited. When the need arose, they used what was at hand. Metal scraps could be flattened, sharpened, or bent to create temporary screwdrivers or wrenches. Tin ration containers were cut into pry bars, and belt buckles or wire formed clamps. The principle was to use multiple simple items in combination to replace a single complex tool. This mindset of layered improvisation is what allowed soldiers to maintain weapons, field radios, vehicles, and even shelter materials under extreme conditions. For modern application, a backpacker can mimic this approach by assessing available objects in the environment. A tent stake can become a makeshift lever. A carabiner can double as a hook, and a small piece of scrap aluminum can serve as a flathead screwdriver in an emergency. Sharpened scrap metal became a universal cutting tool. World War II field accounts frequently describe soldiers using flattened tin cans or fragments of steel as cutting implements. These could open cans, strip wires, or even carve wooden stakes. The success of these improvisations depended on controlled shaping. The metal had to be bent or filed carefully to create a functional edge without snapping. In modern practice, this is equally useful. If your knife breaks or you find yourself without a sharp implement, a piece of aluminum or steel from a can or discarded object can be sanded, filed, or bent to create a temporary cutting edge. Even in 2025, knowing how to fashion a cutting tool from scraps can mean the difference between maintaining gear or being stranded with broken equipment. Simple steps include flattening the scrap, creating a handle from cloth or cord, and testing the edge carefully on soft materials before attempting more demanding tasks. Wire and cord were the glue of improvised repairs. Wire was the unsung hero of World War II field repairs. Soldiers twisted, looped, and braided it to fix boots, reinforce pack straps, patch tents, and even repair weapon components. Combined with small sections of cloth or leather, wire could form a surprisingly durable binding system that substituted for rope, straps, or even metal fasteners. Historical manuals note that soldiers would carry small spools of wire for emergency repairs. Understanding that flexibility and tensile strength could make a single piece of wire perform dozens of functions. For modern survivalists, practicing wire repairs can save hours and prevent gear failure. A short length of wire can temporarily replace a tent zipper pull, secure a broken eyeglass frame, or lash poles together for a makeshift shelter. Learning to twist, loop, and anchor wire to create tension is a skill that carries over directly from World War II, improvisation. Tin and metal containers were the most versatile materials for repairs. Ration tins, beverage cans, and discarded packaging often became repair materials. Soldiers would cut tins into small plates for patching holes, bend edges to create levers, or puncture holes to make improvised fasteners. The key principle was to identify malleable metals that could withstand repeated use without tearing. Reports from field units show that the same tin used to patch a boot could later serve as a fire reflector or even a makeshift stove. Today, backpackers can keep the same mentality. Carry a small empty tin or aluminum container and use it to fix broken gear, cook over a fire, or even create a temporary scoop. The lesson is the same. Materials with multiple potential uses multiply the value of any single item in your pack. Improvisation depended on preparation, awareness, and method. World War II soldiers didn't rely on luck. Their improvisation worked because they understood their gear, anticipated points of failure, and maintained awareness of their surroundings. Every object was evaluated for potential adaptation before it became necessary. Soldiers trained themselves to notice how materials could be bent, sharpened, tied, or anchored to meet immediate needs. This kind of awareness allowed them to operate with limited tools for extended periods, often under extreme conditions. In practice today, this means always assessing your pack and environment for potential solutions. Every loose strap, broken branch, or scrap of aluminum could serve as a replacement for a modern multi-tool if approached with methodical thinking. Practice by repurposing single-use items into temporary tools at home or on short excursions to build skill and confidence. The real takeaway is that survival depends more on ingenuity than equipment. The World War II repair hack proves that a multi-tool is valuable, but the mindset behind its use is priceless. Understanding materials, combining items effectively, and improvising solutions has saved lives across centuries. Whether you are hiking in the wilderness, facing a gear failure, or preparing an emergency kit, the ability to make tools from nothing remains one of the most important survival skills you can cultivate. If you want more historically grounded, practical survival knowledge, subscribe to Backyard Wisdom, share this guide with fellow enthusiasts, and keep the lessons of history alive in your adventures today.